What's going on, guys? King Shrats here, back into the video on the channel. And today, this is like an odds and ends meal, but I've been wanting to try this for like a week. All these fast food places keep coming out with new stuff, and I didn't get a chance to, so it's been sitting in my freezer. I found this at a local grocery store. If you're not from New Jersey, it's called ShopRite, but it's from like an actual place that makes ziti and different kinds of pasta dishes. It's called I can't even read this, it's upside down. Scardino's. It's called Scardino's. It's located in Belleville, New Jersey. I don't know where you're from, but in New Jersey, we have a lot of Italian types of bakeries or places that make these types of dishes. And you can go to grocery stores and get like ready-made stuff just like this. So it's in a giant catering tray, and it costs 20 bucks for this big ass thing. So I was like, I gotta try this and see if it's good. It just was too enticing not to. I mean, it looks like ziti. Haven't looked at it yet because it's been sitting in that thing this whole time. But we got a giant tray of ziti. That was pretty stupid. But I want to try this out. I also got some homemade garlic bread. You'll see what I'll do with that. And I got a Pizzeria Uno pizza. I've been doing a lot of deep dishes, and now I'm finding all of these for cheap. So this one was like stop touching hot stuff. This one was like $9, so I'm going to try these bad boys out today, try this. We got some topics. Again, this was like a more for me type of thing, but I like trying to find stuff that anybody can kind of have like ready-made and easy, because I know most people working, they don't want to cook. Y'all get the idea. Drop a thumbs up, man. You guys already know the vibes, but let's get into this video. I'm going to add some stuff to this, though. Let's just take the first scoop. I have like intrusive thoughts. Y'all like the burnt ends of ziti, or do you like stop touching hot stuff? I can see the damn steam. Yep, we're about to burn our mouth. I hope this is at least decent, that you can work with this, but it comes from an Italian place, so I'm figuring it might be good. Y'all see that damn steam. It's about to get ugly in here. Blowing on food does nothing, by the way. Everybody's like, why don't you blow on it? Nothing. You know what this tastes like, honestly? Again, don't know where you're from, but anytime we had some sort of formal awards dinner with sports, they always serve either ziti or penne vodka. This tastes like the ziti you would get from there. So it's really not bad at all. For $20, I would get this if you want to like feed the fam or something like that. It is a dub. Damn. I feel like the one thing that's missing from here, though, is ricotta cheese. It needs more ricotta. There's not enough to make it baked ziti, and that's what I need in mine. But again, I bought this from a store. I have a container of ricotta. You know what? Give me a sec. I'll be playing. I keep it on deck. This is the ShopRite version. I get fat-free. Most people will say you're crazy for that, but I cut calories wherever I can, man. So that's how I get down. Here we go. It's also probably a help cool it off. So I'm going to probably add like a healthy amount. And then some of this Parmesan. We're going to stir this up, by the way. I don't think I'm just dopping it on top. And stir it up a little bit. That'll work. Healthy amount. I know people get mad because they like the burnt ends. I don't really care for the burnt ends, and it's my ziti. Well, somebody else gonna eat the rest of this, but there we go. All right, hold on now. You can definitely work with this, though. You know. All right, now let's try that. That's what I was looking for. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking. All right, so I got this garlic bread, and I made this. I took a little bit of ricotta cheese, a little bit of butter. I use like the spray butter. I used a little bit of that, added some garlic paste, and some of that Parmesan seasoning, and I just toasted this bread off in the oven. But this is how look. Somebody gonna say this is crazy, because I know people are like, oh, why would you put pasta inside of pasta? Last time I checked, when y'all go to Olive Garden, or any place that serves pasta, what do you do on the side of your pasta? Do you eat breadsticks and garlic bread? So what's the difference? There is none. It's a trick question. There we go. Now we cooking. Don't fall out. Now the problem is, how the hell am I going to eat this? Look at that. This goes kind of crazy. It needed a little bit of love, for sure, but as far as store-bought stuff, it's solid. I'll give it a 10, but you gotta add stuff to it, in my opinion. but it's definitely workable. Now, we also have this Pizzeria Uno pizza. It's a frozen pizza. It cost me like $8, and I put it in the oven for 30 minutes at 375, and out comes this. As far as the deep dishes go, I've had Gino's East and Lou Malnati's, which I paid $90 for, and then Gino's East was better when I paid $8. So this one's about $8. It's a little bit smaller, but all right, this cooled off enough, so that's good. As far as the crust, it looks better than any of the crust that I've gotten so far. I've had Pizza Uno from like the franchise versions, and I've always liked it. This is the Prima Pepperoni, which is just a crap ton of pepperoni on a deep dish, but that's not bad. Oh, their crust is on fire, though. The crust is cool. First thing I noticed, ton of pepperoni. There's a bite, or there's one piece of pepperoni in each bite I've had so far. But what makes this stand out above the other ones, this crust is like buttery, kind of flaky, but has a nice bite to it. I know that these don't do like real pizzas in Chicago justice. Clearly. When I see the ones on TV or the ones in a restaurant, they're much more saucy and they have a little bit more, I guess what you call it, thickness in the pizza. But I'm just judging this against the frozen versions. This one is the best one I've had so far of those. Like, this is a good frozen pizza. Wow. I rock with this one, man. Now, I'm rating this against all frozen pizzas and not just like pizza you would get from a pizzeria. But of that, it is a very good. It's not the best one I've had yet. But what really makes this is this crust. And I would get this again. I do wish it was a little bit bigger. They do have smaller versions of it too. I've also recently seen a Uno's that was like a take-home where it wasn't frozen. And they're starting to circulate in stores. So I might pick that one up. But as far as this one goes, I'll give it an 8.7. It is good. Man, oh, how the hell am I? That's why you gotta toast your bread. Always gotta have good bread for a sandwich too. With the price of food these days, $20 for a giant tray. I think a Stouffer's lasagna, like the family meals, went like 13, and it's a quarter of the size of that. That is a damn mess. I need to have a serious, well, not serious, but serious enough conversation with y'all. The last couple of days, the topics have been ranging from a male perspective on relationships and stuff like that. And I, again, have said this, and I'll say it again. I'm not an expert on relationships. I'm not going to sit here like that. I do think just because I'm, like, not old, but I'm starting to get older, that I've had enough experiences where I've seen, not just firsthand, but from other people, what's worked and what has failed. Side note. Do y'all do this when y'all eating things like ziti or cake or something like that? I'm eating till here. That's what I'm doing. I always draw a line in my cake or pies or something. I go, okay, I'm eating to right here. I'm finna do that. Just so people know. You'll see me staring at it. That's what I'm doing. Including this and this. I'm eating it right there. But I don't necessarily want to seem like I'm giving relationship advice. I just try to give perspective on things that people may or may not see, or just how I feel about certain situations. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just the way that I have my perspective on it. People can choose to do with that what they want to, but I guess that's why we're here, right? But I saw a thing today. So there was this guy on, I believe it was TikTok, and my man said emphatically, he said, this is so like startling to hear. He said, I'm going to play a little bit of the voice note.
You do not have to accept her rejection.
That's all I need to play. Startling, isn't it? I hope it's startling. Look, the majority, when I look at my analytics, the majority of people here are people in my demographic. The most of you are males between in the 20s and 30s. That's like what the overwhelming majority is. So I know that y'all here. There's two things I want to say. Number one, you do have to accept her rejection. You do. Like, there's no such thing as I'm not taking no for an answer type of stuff. And I'm not even just talking about the even more deplorable parts of that. I'm even talking about if you approach a woman and she's not interested, just take the L. Like, sometimes it just, I understand sometimes people's pride or ego may be hurt and they'll turn to an insult. But there are also men, and I know ladies, y'all can help me out with this because I've seen it firsthand and it makes me sick to my stomach. Where a woman says they're not interested and the guy just keeps asking. He keeps going. He keeps telling her, what do you mean you're not interested? How you going to say that to me? Like, she said no, bro. Just can walk away. And that kind of behavior is disgusting. And as men, we do need to do better when it comes to stuff like that. I know that getting rejected hurts. It is never a good feeling for you to be like, I'm interested in this person. And that person is like, yeah, but I'm not. But it happens. Being rejected is a part of life. Your true character as a man, as a person, is how you deal with adversity, how you deal with rejection. Gracefully, all right, thank you. Or whatever, you're beautiful, but I just want to tell you that. Have a nice day. Go on about your business. But that kind of stuff is absolutely disgusting. Now, this guy goes on in this video to talk about how he used multiple different pickup lines and it got him back in the game of saying like, oh, well, you're not good enough for me anyway, etc. First of all, if you see this dude, no disrespect to him, you ain't getting no girls talking like that. You're not. And he's been getting ethered on TikTok by a bunch of men and women saying things that are similar. But he's got a channel that has something to do. It's called like Alpha Male. I don't know the exact name. Well, we're Alpha Male, isn't it? Now, I know some of you watching, because of the things that I said, I've seen comments of people saying, oh, he must be red-pilled. Let me say this with emphasis. I am not. Emphatically, I am not. Just like most people with a platform, even a broken clock is right twice a day. People can say things that, yeah, that might be right. But the other 90% of the stuff they say, for lack of better words, excuse me for cursing, is bullshit. And that's how I feel a lot of those platforms. Do they make valid talking points? Absolutely. Most people do at certain points, but that's how you get pulled into that scenario. That's how you end up preaching everything. And I don't want you to be blindly devoted to anything or anyone, and that includes me. Everything I say you might not agree with, and that's normal. You shouldn't, because you're not me. Do I make valid points sometimes? I probably. Do I make things that make no sense to me? Probably. But part of being an adult is being able to discern, to tell the difference between real and BS. Do I believe in some of the traditional gender roles and things like that? Yes, but it's everyone's choice at this point. So people that say things like, women belong in the kitchen, or no, if they want to be in the kitchen, sure. If I want to be in the kitchen, sure. But they don't belong anywhere but where they want to be. Even if you disagree with a person's lifestyle, I know that a lot of those channels and stuff talk about, they use phrases like 304s, and they talk about women that have, the spicy accounts, and they make, films for adults, if you get what I'm saying. If that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. I'm not going to insult that woman. It's just personally, yes, would I date that woman? No. But that doesn't make her a bad human being or someone that's worthy of someone ridiculing or talking crap about them. That's not how the world works. Everything that you do does not have to be agreed upon by everybody. Everybody in here might have a lifestyle choice that people may not agree with. But to me, that's not what the world is about. I'm not going to sit here and preach how you should be living your life if you're not hurting anybody. Now, if you're causing harm to people, completely different ballgame. But if people have the moral choice to do something and you don't agree with those morals, but it's not something that you want to do, then so be it. But I'm not going to sit here and insult that person for doing so. So I don't necessarily believe in that, but please be careful when you're watching a lot of these podcasts and a lot of these alpha males, or even the women when they talk about broke boys and all that other stuff. A lot of those people, you may not realize this, they're talking from a place of hurt. Those guys have probably been rejected a billion times in their life before. They've now acquired wealth, which has now increased their relationship availability, increased their status, and that does help you along the way. But it doesn't change anything. Let me make myself clear when I say this. Let me get another bite of this pizza. Are there things that men can do to increase their face value, like acquiring wealth, being in shape, being articulate, dressing well? Absolutely. The part, in my opinion, that they're leaving out, and I'm sorry for cursing again. We're allowed to curse on YouTube, but I do try to keep it cleaner. Those face value things do not increase your relationship value. Just like people talking about women who only use their beauty and looks to gain attention from men, those are the male versions of that. So you flashing your money, or you flashing your body, or you flashing your assets, do the same thing, but that does not change your character. It doesn't change who you are in a relationship, and character is how relationships get built. Looks, money, all those things get you in the door. They are cosmetic things, but they do not change the fact that if you, for lack of better words, are an asshole, you're not going to have any staying power with any woman. You will churn and burn through people just like you can. And take it from any person who has lived that life, chasing women for the rest of your life and churning through women, it gets old. Anybody who doesn't say so, you just haven't had enough. And anybody who says, oh, well, there's no such thing as enough, they're going to die alone. And I don't really know how to say that another way. But it's not fun. Because eventually you're going to get old, you're going to get wrinkly, and those types of things, you can't replace the bond that you have, or even with your family, or your friends, or your loved ones, or with it, you can't replace those things. You'll feel like an empty shell of yourself until you change your ways. And I'm not telling you to settle. I'll say this. Your vibes that you are putting out there will change the people that you attract. So if you're going to be the type of person that flashes their money, look, I'm not telling you to go be broke. That's not entirely, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is that you're going to use your money to get women. That's the only reason they're going to show up. Because the women that actually have character, money is important. But it's not the reason they're going to want to talk to you. So if you are flashing all this money and you're still a sleazeball, for, I don't know words, but those type of women are going to look the other way when you're acting that way. It's the same thing that we preach, or men preach towards women, that if you're going to show your body and show yourself off in that way, the type of guys that you attract probably won't be the guys that you want to marry, etc. It's the same thing for men. And I've had plenty of people, friends that I've been around in my life that have used those types of things to get women. And they always end up getting hurt. Or being like, oh, they just want me for my money. Yeah, because that's what you're showing them. Relationships are work. And work is a job. In a job interview, when you go to your job, you put your best foot forward before you get the job, not after you get hired. And there's too many people out here that are going on job interviews dressed the wrong way, if you catch the analogy. It's the same thing that women say when they say, oh, well, I'm not going to act like a wife until I am one. And our rebuttal as men is, oh, well, if you're not going to act like a wife, why would I want to marry you just to see if you're going to be one? Because we don't know. Women are saying the same thing. There's a lot of women out here who can get duped by somebody, like tricked. I don't know if you caught the word because I don't have captions. And then you end up marrying a completely different person. The one thing that I can say about it's hard out here for everybody when it comes to relationships. Whether you're married already, whether you're looking to get married, whether you're just dating or you're not interested, it's not easy for anybody. And just because you're married doesn't mean you got to stop working at your relationship. And just because you're not in a relationship doesn't mean you have to stop working towards one. At the end of the day, I find it hard to believe that people don't want to find their somebody. You want to find somebody that you want to eventually do life with, settle down with. But I do get the fact that it's hard. But when you get bitter dudes and bitter women who start being reactionary towards other people, that's how they end up single for the rest of their life. And I'm not telling you to settle again. But you still should, even in when it's not going well, that's where your character comes in, about you just putting your best foot forward. Not because you're looking for a relationship, but you never realize it, but people are looking at you with everything you do. So just be careful when listening to these, because I see a lot of these I've watched a bunch of those podcasts. I want to see what they're talking about. And a lot of it, it's just regurgitated points all over again. And a lot of them aren't really doing the things that they say that they're doing. It's all window dressing. And once you have a platform, of course, there's going to be plenty of pretty girls around because they're trying to get on, but they're not there for the right reasons. And that's why they come off so angry. Because they're probably still, to this day, getting used for their assets. Of course, you should better yourself. But don't let the fact that people suck make you a bad person or a person that lost their morals. And I've seen a lot of men and women doing that. And again, now that I'm older, I've watched a lot of those people that were doing that start to age and wonder where everybody went. And it's never too late, but I just, enough is enough with these crazy podcasts and these crazy like guys and girls talking all this crazy stuff. Oh yeah, well, you shouldn't date a guy if he doesn't make less than 50K. Like, if you don't sit your single behind down, or, oh, you shouldn't date no girl if she's gonna, you can have your boundaries and stand on them, but you don't have to keep calling people angry names because it just makes you look bitter. And sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So when I see people, oh, well, all these 304s need to do this, that, and it, you just sound angry. And I don't condone some of these like dudes talking about you gotta have like I'm not gonna use that word because I probably shouldn't say it, but like a gang of women. This is probably the realest I'll be with y'all because I don't talk about stuff like this, but I'm older now. I used to be the type of dude that had a lot of girls around. Right? I talked to one girl this week, one girl next week, this girl, that girl, this girl, that girl. And you can ask any guy who's lived that life where they might have been talking to one girl at the same time or a different girl every week or so forth. Y'all think it's hard to keep up with one woman? Try it with 4. Try it with 3. 1 is enough. Like, for real, 1 is enough. I'm just telling you. It's not easy. So it's not as fun as you think. And man, does it get mentally exhausting and it gets old. It's not something to brag about. I'm not saying this, I'm trying to sound cool, but it's not fun. It gets old quick, man. The mental exhaustion was way worse than the reward. Way worse. My advice to any of y'all, especially if y'all are younger than me, man, just live your life, right? Do the things that you feel you need to do to be successful for you. Not for other people. Don't do it for the girls. Don't get in the gym because you're trying to get girls. Don't get rich because you're trying to get girls. Do it because you're trying to be a better person. And live. And eventually, if you see somebody you're interested in, like, say hello, but just enjoy yourself because your time will come. It'll come. And if you feel like they aren't looking in your direction, do things that you feel like will make yourself better of a person, mentally and physically, financially, whatever you want to do, and your time will come. Like, it's not like the old days where people got married at 18, man. Some people get married at 40. Some people get married at 50. You never know. But just live your life to be a better person and let the chips fall where they may. Don't be out here spouting off these angry-ass people, stuff, like men and women, bro. Like, again, the majority of those people that are spouting that angry stuff on podcasts be single as hell and have broken hearts 66 times. They just don't know how to deal with it. So what people are doing, men and women, is now they're like rounding up all the angry people like the Avengers, all the angry dudes and the bitter women. They just band together in the comment section and be like, yeah, men ain't nothing, men ain't nothing. Like, good and hell well you'd like to find a decent man. And for the dudes, the same thing. You want to find yourself a good woman. And they exist. But spouting that angry ass language off ain't gonna help it. It's like complaining that you're not where you want to be. Like, yeah, you can deal with it, but you still also have to do things to pull yourself out the mud. And people, I think, we're just losing sight of that. When I saw this dude, that's why I'm ranting about it. But when I saw it, I was like, bro, what's wrong with this? This dude's crazy. He's sitting there, he's got the hands like this, and you don't have to, here's what I do with the girls. And cap. Absolute cap. Absolute. Just live your life, man, and enjoy it. I finished my section. Look, it's gonna slide, but I finished it. I don't want to eat too much though, because this food was heavy as hell. I already know who's getting this because they asked about it. I showed them that they were like, let me get some. So that's cool. They know who I am, bro. It's like I'm just giving this stuff away to some random person, and I'm like, oh, you want to take? Yeah. So anyway, I just want to talk about that today, man. Just be careful with the podcast boys and the podcast girls. What you can watch them, but take the information and process it. Discern the BS, because all the stuff they're doing is for entertainment value too. They gotta say outlandish stuff or you won't watch. As a content creator, I can tell you this: staying impartial, staying where you're trying to see everybody's point of view, that don't get you views. What gets you views is saying crazy stuff, crazy takes, because it gets everybody talking, right? And I don't like politics, but I'm going to use politics as an example before I get out of here. If you are an extremely right-leaning person and you say extremely right-leaning stuff or extremely left-leaning stuff, this is what happens, and this is how the internet works these days. You'll get the people on your side. So if you're left-leaning, people on the left will agree with you, and everybody's going to agree with you, and oh, this is great. The people on the right are going to see it, and they're going to be in the comments disagreeing with you. You're this, you're that, insults, and now you got everybody talking. But when you're in the middle, nobody listens. So that's why they do the things they do, man. They're getting paid off it, you know. So just be careful, man. Like from what I heard, that like some of these dudes that's making podcasts, they be like on like sugar daddy websites and stuff. You wouldn't have to be on a damn website if you was really doing it. That's transactional. That's not real. If you go broke, bro, the party's over. So I'm just keeping it a stack with y'all, man. The real ones, the real relationships, they're going to be there, right? As long as you're trying to do better, they're going to be there. The fake ones, they leave when stuff gets bad. Like I said, adversity reveals character. You find out so much about a person when things go wrong. So much. You find out the most stuff. Like everybody can be good when life's good, but when you going through it, you find out who your friends are. You find out who you are. You find out who your family is. Because when you're up, you'll have people coming out the woodworks trying to talk and be a part of your life. But when you down, then people going to be all gone. So you really going to find out. Keep the people around who are with you when you're in the mud. Any person you've seen on my channel, in my videos with me, we've been like in the mud. Like we've had struggle. You know what I'm saying? And then when we're up, we up, and everything's good. When we're down, we get out of it. That's what it should be. Relationships, friendships, family, everybody. Just because they're family don't mean that you got to be your family. Trust me when I say that. But I love y'all, man. I just hope, I'm sorry about the preaching and the rant and stuff, but I just saw that, and that just makes me annoyed, bro. Be listening to these dudes. We'll be back, though, tomorrow. But you should still be trying to do well in life. Like, yeah, get money, get all that stuff. But be a good person, too. Character. More content tomorrow, man. I love y'all. The hand signs. They made it to YouTube.